What's up, guys? Good morning. You also, I'm Igwe Victor, and you all are welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want to be talking about how to use psychological level to support and resistance zone. How psychological level basically acts as support and resistance zone. So that's what I'll be talking about today. So basically, psychological levels works due to human disposition, and psychological level the definition: psychological levels are random numbers on the chart that traders or players or individual traders pays attention to, or big players pays attention to. So it just works due to human disposition. Like for example, in numerical form, I would say 1 5 10 15 20 25 30 35 and so on. So that's how psychological level basically works. So um that's how psychological level basically work due to human disposition, and there are random numbers on the charts that just acts as either a support or a resistance zone, and it works due to human disposition. So I'll be showing you guys how to spot them, how they basically look as a support zone or a resistance zone. So if you look closely at this point, you can see price pull to this extent, price pull to this extent. If you look closely at this point right here, you see price pull to this extent, it resisted. This is a resistance zone. Psychological level, hold on, I want to type out something right here. Psychological levels, round of numbers on the charts, round of numbers on the chart that big players pays attention to, and they work due to human disposition. So psychological levels are random numbers on the charts that big players pays attention to. Big players like hedge funds, bank, and so on and so forth. So psychological level also acts as support and resistance zone. They also acts as either support or resistance zone. They either act as support and resistance zone. So psychological levels are random numbers on the charts that big players pays attention to, and they work due to human disposition. They also act as support and resistance zone on the chart. So yeah, that's just a simple definition of support and resistance zone. So, or you can either say they are significant numbers on the charts that big players pays attention to. Either ways you can call it. So let me show you guys an example of psychological level acting as a support zone, as a resistance zone. So if you look at this point, if you look closely at this point, you see, sorry about the noise, this is a resistance zone. You can see how price was pulling to this extent, got to this point, and it resisted, got to this point again, and there was a resisted, and it resisted, got to this point again, it resisted. So resistance zones are zones where there are possible surplus of sellers, and support zone are zones where there might be possible surplus of buyers. So those are the two definitions of resistance and support. So in simple layman language, once price gets to a resistance zone, you sell. Once price gets to a support zone, you buy. That's just the simple definition. You can see how price pulled to this extent, it resisted, pulled to this extent again, and it resisted, came back to that simple point again, and you can see the resistance. So let me find another example. It works. This is USD CAD. It works on all pair. works on all pair. You can spot it on all pair. You can see another example right here, even though I placed it. So price was acting as a resistance. It broke out and bounced on this resistance, on this psychological level as a support, and put this upside. All these blue lines you are seeing here are my psychological level, and each of them are 50 pips apart, are 50 pips below or above each other. So that's just it. So how to plot them? You can see if I basically clear everything out of this chart, let me measure it just like I said before. Let me measure it. So you go here, you go to this, my right hand side, I pick out my ruler, my measuring tool, and I place it and measure it and pull it above, and you can see I stop at the next psychological level, and you can see it's exactly 50 pips above from this one. You can see exactly, you can see the number above 50 pips. You can see 50.0, exactly 50.0 pips apart from each other. And if I do the same for below, I go to that same point again, take my measuring tool and put it at the psychological level, I place it right here exactly, and pull it to the downside, and boom, you can see minus 50 pips. You can see it's exactly 50 pips. Don't worry about the minus, it's because it's negative, that's why it's showing minus. So you can see it's exactly 50 pips. So there must be 50 pips above or below each other, and you can see. So this one is for how to basically plot your your psychological level. I'll be explaining that in my next topic, but let me just give a brief example of how to plot psychological levels. You can see my previous psychological level is 1.400. You can see, look at this point, you can see the value, you can see the number at this corner. You look at my cursor, where my cursor is rotating, you can see my previous psychological level now is 1.41000. So if I want to put another psychological level above, I'll just go to my same ruler tool, pick it, measure 50 pips above, put it exactly at the touch, boom, and then measure 50 pips to the upside, exactly 50 pips, boom. And then I come to this downside, I come to this point, pull out this, and you see horizontal line. I take out this horizontal line, come to this point and put it exactly above. Now remember what I said the next psychological level is going to be 1.41500, and you can see it's exactly you can see the value right here, 1.41500. So that's just how to plot your psychological level. So if I want to put another one above, it's going to be 50 pips above from this. So that's how you do for when you're plotting it below. You just pick out your ruler to measure it and draw it below, and then 50 pip, it must be 50 pip apart from each other. 50 pip, let it not be more than 50 pips. 50 pip, exactly 50 pip from apart from each other. You can see this is 1.4100, the next one is 1.41500, the next one above now is going to be 1.4200. So that's just how to plot psychological levels. That's how to plot psychological levels on the chart. There must be 50 people above or below from each other, and they act as potential support and resistance zone. So like I said previously, psychological levels are random numbers on the charts that big players pays attention to. So whenever price gets to a psychological level, it mostly reacts. Not always though, because market moves in a dynamic way. So but majorly, whenever price gets to a psychological level, there's always a reaction. You can see, like I explained previously, you can see how price was on an uptrend. You can see an uptrend. An uptrend simply means when something is going up. You can see in a layman term again, you can see price is going up, because some people might not understand that uptrend term. So price is currently going up. You can see how it's going up when something is pulling up. Price was going up. It got to this point, this psychological level. It got to this point. You can see this psychological level right here, which is currently now acting as a resistance zone. Hold on, let me do something. I just want to make sure you guys are understanding this. Acting as a resistance zone. So you can see this psychological level right now is currently acting as a resistance zone. Like I said in the beginning of this video. Resistance, sell, support, buy. Resistance zones are zones where there are possible surplus of sellers, and support zones are zones where there are possible surplus of buyers. So whenever price gets to a resistance zone, you just wait, see a confirmation pattern, and then you sell. Whenever price gets to a support, a psychological level acting as a support zone, you wait for a confirmation pattern, then you buy. That's just the simple definition. You can see how price pulled to this extent, and you can see the reaction. Price dropped down, came back again, and there was a reaction, came back again, and there was a reaction. I think this happened, this is current market charts though, it happened yesterday, I think Monday 18. I think I took this trade. If I go to my order, it's still USD CAD over my where I do most of my rough work. You see, I took this trade yesterday. Yes, exactly. You can see when price got to this, when price got to this, when you see how I marked it, you can see this is where I do most of my rough work. So you can see it's pretty messed up. It's pretty messed up. So I just went to the cleaner chart so you guys won't see all this messed up. So yesterday when price got to this point, the price resisted. This is resistance. I knew immediately that this psychological level was acting as a resistance zone. So price pulled the first time, and there was a drop, came back again, and there was a drop, came back again, and formed a double bottom. You can see this where I put the where this pink, where my cursor is rotating, this sort of pink box right here, this pink box right here. You can see it's a double top chart pattern, that is there. So immediately I saw this, and price dropped, and price pulled up again and retraced. Immediately I got in for a sell position. This was when I tightened my stop loss, though this was not where my initial stop loss was. I think my initial stop loss was 14 pips above, and I was targeting 1:2 because that's what I do. I risked 1 to get 2. So when price got to this point, this was where my stop loss was, because I was fixing 14 pips to target to 29 pips, which is exactly 1:2. So when price got to this point, I entered for a sell, and you can see how price dropped, because I knew this was a resistance zone. This psychological level was acting as a resistance zone, and a chart pattern just formed here, signaling that price can't go any further, that price is about to start dropping. Though price was on an uptrend, you see, immediately I knew, seeing this pattern here, I knew price can't go any further, and price was about to start dropping. So that's why I entered for a sell position on this trade. So back to my other chart, because this part look a little bit messy. But let me go to a cleaner chart so you guys can understand it. So basically, psychological level acts as support and resistance zone. So I basically use them as my support and resistance zone. So whenever price just gets to my psychological level, bounced on it, it's probably acting as either a support or a resistance zone. Whenever it gets there, bounced on it, and I see a chart pattern, I just go in for either a buy or a sell. So this side, psychological level was acting as a resistance zone. Let me look for where it acted as a support zone for you guys. You can see exactly, you can see price was falling. You can see price was falling at this point. This is a high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price got to this psychological level, which is now acting as a support zone, which was acting as a support zone, and there was a, you can see another chart pattern here. This is like a first leg, second leg, double bottom, and you can see how price pulled to the upside. So you just have to merge it with other confluences, like either a chart pattern or a candlestick pattern. So whenever price gets to a psychological, whenever price gets to your psychological level, which might probably be acting as either your support or your resistance zone, form probably a double bottom, a double top, a pin bar pattern, and a golfing pattern, a three dark crows, whatever pattern you recognize and feel and understand the psychology behind it. You see it at that psychological level, you just know that price can't go any further. It's either you buy or you long. So at this point, what I'll be doing at this point is I'll be buying. Immediately price go to this point and I see this chart pattern right here, I'll immediately get in for a buy. Yeah, I'll immediately get in for a buy position. I'll immediately go in for a buy. You can see placing my stop loss above the recent low, which is right here, and I was risking 21 pips on this trade, and I'll be targeting, I think, 42 pips. Yeah, exactly, which is like exactly 1:2. You can see my TP was hit and price even went beyond. You can see how price hit my TP. You can see. So that's just it. So your psychological level acts as a support and resistance zone, and it works. How many people might be wondering why this works. This works due to human disposition, just like I said when I started this video. If I want to put it in a numerical form, like for example, if I say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and so on. That's how psychological level work. If you look at it, the number closely, you see 1.38500. The next one is 1.3900. The next one above should be 1.400. The next one above should be 1.40500. The next one above should be 1.4100. So that's just how you do it. It's just simple, just like 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, like 5 in the numerical form. It's 5 pips. If 5 numbers above each other, you can see from 5 to 10 is like it's 5. You have 5 in the middle. It's 5 numbers away from 10. From 5 to 10, you have to count 5 times. From 10 to 15, you have to count 5 times. From 15 to 20, you have to count 5 times. So that's just it on the chart. So from 1.38500 to 1.3900 is 50 pips above. So that's just it. Instead of 5, we make it 50 pips. So it's like random. It works due to human disposition, just like random numbers on the charts that big players pays attention to. That's just the simple definition of psychological level. Just know that whenever price gets to a psychological level, just know it's going to react. It's not always though, but because the market is all about probability and uncertainty, it's not always though, but majorly price always reacts on a psychological level whenever it gets there. So you just know whenever price gets to a psychological level, you see a pattern that you best recognize, either a candlestick pattern or a chart pattern or other confluence, either a Fibonacci at that zone or a trend line or whatever pattern or strategy you're using. You just match psychological level with it and acting as a support and resistance. So just know whenever price come to your psychological level that might probably be acting as either a support or resistance zone, you just wait for a pattern to confirm your entry, and then you shoot to the upside. So that's just it. So this one was acting as a support zone. Let me look for other examples. I just want you guys to understand this. It works on all time frame. You can plot it on any time frame, even 4 hours. It's 4 hours. I majorly plot it on 4 hours. With 1 hour, you can plot it on 1 hour, 15 minutes. So any time frame of your choice. So at this point again, let me show you another example. This is 1 hour time frame. So I'm spotting psychological level on a 1 hour time frame. You can see how price was continuously reacting on the psychological level as a support zone. So you see, it's not like something I made up. You can see I don't control the market, so I'm just showing you what is happening. You can see this is a psychological level which is acting as a support zone. You can see price has been falling for quite a while. It came, bounced on it, and there was a reaction. Came again, bounced on it, and there was a reaction. Came again, bounced on it, and you all can see the reaction before it finally bounced on it the last time, and you can see the pull to the upside. You can see that's how psychological level basically works. You can see it basically pulled to the upside. So if I want to add, let me make another example how to add psychological level below before I call it a day, or I say see you guys at the end of this video. If you look at where my cursor, this is my cursor, you guys can see this cursor rotating. So look at where it is right now. It is at 1.3600, right? 1.3600. Let me not put it 100. 1.36000. So the next psychological level now, my next psychological level now, let me use this ruler tool again. I pick out my ruler tool and then I place it on the previous psychological level, this line, and boom, and then I draw it 50 pips below, exactly 50 pips, you can see. And then I pick my horizontal line, which you find on your right hand, on your left hand side of your left hand side of your chart. Then I pick it and then I come to this bottom of this ruler tool and then boom, I place it. So and then you can see my it's 1.3500. I just make it to be accurate. You can see 1.3500. You can see, just look at it, there's no movement. You can see 1.3500 just to be accurate. So it's 50 pips above from each other. So my next one now is going to be 1.35000. I just pick my same ruler tool again, and I pick my same ruler tool. You can see my ruler tool at your left hand side of the chart. You come here, your measuring tool, you plot it, and then 50 pips below the previous one, and boom, 50 pips, and then you pick out your horizontal line and boom, you pick out your horizontal line, and then Boom, there you have it. You can see, and then just for accuracy purpose, you place it. For accuracy purpose, you just 1.5000, and boom, you can see. So that's just it. So that's how you just continuously placing it. So my next one now is going to be 1.3400. 1.34500. Then my next one is going to be 1.3400. The next one is going to be 1.33500. So that's just how you continue plotting it to the downside. So that's how to plot your psychological level and how to majorly spot them as support and resistance zone. You can see this is, I think this is the example I made, right? Yes, support zone, psychological level acting as support. Right here again, psychological level acting as resistance, psychological level acting as resistance on this point before the final breakout. So you can see how price pulled to this extent. Price was continuously reacting on this psychological level. There's a psychological level there. It got to the top side and it dropped down, came back again, dropped down, came back again, dropped down before it finally broke out and started reacting on its own support. So psychological level, just for, let's recap it before I call it a day. Psychological levels are significant numbers or round up numbers on the charts that big players pays attention to, and they work due to human disposition, and they also act as support and resistance zone on the chart. Psychological level acts as major support and resistance zone on the chart. So you can use your psychological level as support and resistance zone. And remember, they are not just lines, they are zones. So just keep that in your mind. So I'll talk about that later on. But psychological levels are not just lines, they are zones on the chart. So that's just it, guys, about psychological levels and how they act as support and resistance zone and how to plot them. I hope you find this video useful, or you pick one or two things from it. And if you do, please just support me by either liking or subscribing. Just please support me, and please support me, and please. So that's just it, guys. So I'll see you guys probably in my next video, and please bye for now, and you guys should please like and subscribe. So see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye.